Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I've missed you. I gotta tell you.
Okay.
I've missed you. We had some good times together.
We did have some good times together.
Yeah.
Yeah, around the phone and doing the phone service. And I remember when I would get people on the phone, and I would start having good conversations with them. You guys would all get up and leave. You were like, oh no, Stuart's gonna be forever on the phone now. Here we go. Let's just leave him here. Hopefully, I'm sure he'll figure it out. We'll come back. He'll be fine.
And you know what? He was.
No, well, it would have been nice to have a little support, but I know that's how it works, right? If you can't be flattered by conversations, you don't have them. You kind of leave the room. That's kind of how it is with you guys.
Oh, don't be mean.
Oh, well, it's true. It's too bad that it's true, but I'm glad I learned that. I'm glad I learned that, at 30-something instead of, way later in life. So
Okay.
it was a good experience. It was a very good experience. Yeah, wouldn't have traded a day for it. So those were two sisters that, or at least the one I was talking to mostly, was a sister that I pioneered with for about 6 years. And in this territory, we would do phone witnessing. And within a couple of years, every time I got somebody on the phone, I would really keep the conversation going, to try to recruit them and indoctrinate them and share the good news of God's kingdom with them. And I got pretty effective at it. And it got to the point where when I would get someone at home and would start a conversation, literally every sister at the table would get up and leave. They couldn't be bothered to listen to the conversation, right? And I remember at the time thinking, where is the support? Where is the enthusiasm for reaching one of Jehovah's sheep in the ministry? No, they couldn't be bothered, just got up and left, right? Whereas when every other one of them would get somebody at home, we would all sit and watch and listen and help them look up scriptures if we needed to keep the conversation going and everything. But when it was me, it was just like, oh, there goes Stuart again, get up and leave. And you notice how I brought that up to her, addressing the whole idea of cult members needing to be flattered by conversations or they just can't have them. And it dawned on me that it was even true while I was a witness. I saw it happen right in front of me. And you saw me a reminder of that, and you saw her say, don't be mean. Don't be mean. See that? Don't persecute me. Flatter me, go away. Flatter me, let me control the conversation, or go away.
Research.
Yeah.
That sounds like something you'd be good at.
Well, that's the thing, there's always more to learn, more to appreciate,
Oh, yeah.
There are things that I've learned about the organization that if I had known once upon a time, maybe it would have been a different story,
You should have asked me, because I've been through all that.
Well, that's impossible.
Well,
to have been through all of that.
Well,
I remember talking to you once before, and I would bring something up, and you would say, "Oh, I know all about that. I know all about that."
Well, what I mean is,
I know all about that.
No, what I mean is,
that's faith.
No,
That's real faith.
What I mean is, when I was evangelical, born again Christian, right?
Uh-huh.
And when I started studying with the witnesses, I got invited over to Trent's house, and the guy that was there, he was he called himself the deprogrammer.
Okay.
He never said it.
Wow.
But he was there to show me stuff about things that I didn't know.
Okay.
So I had that many books, CDs, cassettes, whatever it was, play, to watch it, CDs and all this other stuff. And I went through it for 6 months. And then at the end, I came to the conclusion that I still had the truth. At the end of 6 months, yeah. I dropped all the other stuff.
When you say the truth, what do you mean?
Well, something's either a lie.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's the truth.
That's right.
Right?
Okay.
And what he was saying, and then what I had researched, and I was very open-minded, because I was just starting to study.
How did Satan get Eve to kill herself?
I don't know. Explain it. What's your version now?
How did Satan get Eve to kill herself?
Just deceived her?
Deceived her. He told her the truth, or he told her a lie?
Okay, here's something to think about. Think about this.
Did he tell her the truth, or did he tell her a lie?
Did he tell the truth a lie?
Did Satan tell Eve the truth, or did Satan tell Eve a lie?
A lie.
A lie.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, why come out and kill somebody if you can get them to kill themselves if you want them dead? I mean, that is how you kill somebody, right? How many Jehovah's Witnesses die every year after refusing blood? How many Jehovah's Witnesses kill themselves after being abused by one of Jehovah's Witnesses and have that abuse treated as though it never happened?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a second witness,
But,
or because the
here's
abuser didn't confess. And how many Jehovah's Witnesses kill themselves after being disfellowshipped and shunned and not being able to have any contact with their flesh and blood and people they've known their entire life? Like, how many people every year are Watchtower's policies when it comes to blood,
okay,
shunning, and abuse reporting killing or getting to kill themselves when they commit suicide.
Here's
They
a
can't
thought.
handle it.
One question.
Unfortunately, we're never going to, like, you can't answer that question. I can't answer that question either. Well, Watchtower could answer that question if they were keeping track of that. They're the only organization in the world to be able to keep track of that, and of course they're not going to do that. Because to talk about the number of people that their policies are killing, or the number of people that their policies are getting to kill themselves, would bring reproach on Jehovah, right?
Okay, think
but
about
the point is though that
Stuart,
God doesn't need
Stuart.
Watchtower, you
But
guys.
you know what? Conversations
Watchtower
are
needs
both
people. Watchtower needs people who don't want to have conversations that don't flatter
Okay.
them, and
Here's
the
a
organization
thought.
that they're loyal
Here's
to.
a real quick thought, though.
Have you ever met
I've
anybody
heard-
that died in a hospital bed where you thought, wow, they died
Stuart,
faithful?
Think about this.
Have you?
We're all going to die no matter what.
Have
whether
you?
it's in a
See, you
hospital
won't
or
answer the
not.
question. See, you're trying to control the conversation?
No, I'm not. I just want to ask
Hey,
you
no,
a question.
you're not answering any of my questions though, because the questions I'm asking you don't flatter you. I've noticed that about cult members. If you guys can't control the conversation, and if the conversation doesn't flatter you,
No, I don't want to be flattered.
you don't
No,
want
you
to
don't
have
even
it.
know what I'm
Okay,
gonna
well
say.
then answer the question.
Okay, answer
Well, then
this
answer the question.
Okay.
No. Answer the question.
I want you to answer this.
Hang on, what was the question?
Do you know anybody
Of course
that
I
has
do.
actually martyred themselves by refusing blood?
Of course not.
You don't? Okay. Do you know anybody that used to be a witness that killed themselves after they were shunned
No.
by their own flesh and blood? Okay, it's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, here's a real quick thought. If what you're saying is true,
Uh huh.
you know, whatever you're thinking
That Watchtower
about,
policies
no, all this
are making
stuff,
it possible.
or that this isn't the truth. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Okay, so do you believe in a God?
Do I believe in a God?
Yeah.
Anymore? See, you're assuming
Well, I
that
don't
I
know.
don't believe in God.
I don't know.
I love that. See, a person that leaves the organization can't believe in
No, you
God.
could. I'm
See,
just
that's the
asking.
assumption
No,
right
I
there.
don't mean to do
That's
that.
amazing. That people who leave this
do you
organization
believe in
actually
God?
have just as much love for God.
Okay, you do.
Just
Okay.
as much love for their fellow man.
Okay, so here's what I'm asking
And what's
then.
interesting about people who leave this organization is that they're actually even more sincere about their search for truth than you. Because you're only looking to one organization in your search for
No,
truth.
but here's what my
and
thought.
unfortunately, that leaves you fairly ignorant. I mean, not to be insulting, but
No,
it
no,
does
no.
not leave you ignorant.
But just wait, answer my question.
Well, you're ignorant when it comes to the number of people who are killing themselves
Okay, so
because of Watchtower
You guys,
policies
hang on. You guys
and
gotta
because
let
of
each
blood.
other talk
Yeah,
and
you're
ask,
not
and
letting-
ask
you're
Well,
not
no, you're just revealing your ignorance, though.
No.
So it's
Stuart, I'm not
difficult to
trying to-
continue the
He's
conversation.
going off and not
I'm
saying
just trying to
So,
get
do
you
I
up
believe in
here.
a God? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. Now,
Right.
when I studied that stuff, this is why I wanted to bring it up. And I looked at it, and it was interesting stuff, of course. But at the end, I came to realize that even if everything they said was true, even if it was 100%,
Who? Who
this
said was true?
information that I was reading and studying,
What information?
similar to what you talk about.
You have no idea what I'm
Oh, no,
talking
he's
about.
talking, okay, hang on. So, he's talking. I got to referee you two.
Yeah.
That's
he's
amazing.
talking about the deprogramming that he
Yeah.
said. Remember when he said?
Yeah, but you're
before he
assuming that
became-
it's the same thing that I'm talking about. You're
But
assuming that what you read in those books and CDs in
because
6 months
the stuff
is
that you're
exactly.
saying is
That's
similar.
what I'm saying. You just proved my point again that you're trying to control the conversation in a way that flatters you.
I have a meeting.
See?
I got to go.
Yeah.
You guys need to admit that God doesn't need Watchtower.
No, I agree.
Okay, Watchtower needs guys like you who don't want to be informed because you're too busy making sure your Watchtower is underlined, making sure that you're getting your 70 a month in, making sure that you're all the meetings and all the service groups and at all the conventions and assemblies, and that you're ready to make lunch for the circuit
Well, that's
overseer,
not so bad.
and on and on and on it goes.
I don't mind
Like,
that.
I noticed when I was started studying and I was getting ready to take the ministry seriously, it was about the offer for the month, the offer for January, the offer for February, and then overnight, if somebody had taken enough of an interest in those offers, all of a sudden they now became requirements for life. And then it was about becoming an unbaptized publisher, a baptized publisher, an auxiliary pioneer if you could auxiliary pioneer. Why not a regular pioneer if you could regular pioneer? And if you're missing meetings, well, don't be missing all your
You're so
meetings.
down on that. How is it hurting anybody?
Well, that's the thing.
Are we hurting anybody?
Yeah, but that's the thing. The word organization, the word governing body doesn't appear in the Bible
Would you
anywhere.
prefer disorganized?
These are developments in Watchtower
wrong with
history.
that?
And Watchtower
What's wrong
is
with that?
rewriting
How is that
its
hurting
history.
anybody?
No, I'm saying Watchtower is responsible for all that.
But I don't feel in it, even though I know
Well, of
all
course
that
you
stuff,
don't. No, but you
it doesn't
don't.
bother
You
me.
don't. See, you just admitted that your whole knowledge came from those 6 months of reading those books and
But
CDs.
you're
I'm trying
saying
to help
some
you.
of the same stuff I've heard before.
I'm trying to
That's
help
all
you,
I'm
Gino.
saying.
I'm trying to tell you that Watchtower policies, not the change. You know that prior to 1951 and 1981, Watchtower was actually against disfellowshipping and shunning.
I think
Have you
so,
seen
yeah.
the 1947
I
Awake?
remember that.
Are you
I
also
remember-
excommunicated?
I remember
And you
that.
guys have heard about the class action lawsuit in Ontario. You've heard about the Australian Royal Commission. You heard about the Palmer case that just happened a couple of days ago. And of course,
you know what?
the martyrs, the blood
what?
is killing. Conservatively 150 people a year in the United States alone.
But
if you go to a website called Advocates for Jehovah's Witness Reform on Blood, you can have an informed opinion. Because only looking to Watchtower for Watchtower's views on these subjects
So, Stuart,
is not going to give you a well-rounded
what are you
approach.
trying to do? Like, I know about this stuff, and it doesn't affect me
Well,
that much.
I said
I've heard
hi.
it before.
And what's interesting is that you shouldn't be talking to me now according to Watchtower policy because of what I'm saying.
Well, you know
but
why?
you respect me because we have a relationship, right?
But you know why
so
I
you're
don't,
willing
you know
to
why I
talk
don't
to me.
enjoy? Because, for one thing, we're just arguing, and that's not a comfortable situation. I don't like
Well, I'm actually quite comfortable because I know where you're coming from.
You know where you're coming from.
disagree. I've got a meeting. I've got.
But
to
I know
go.
where you're coming from, too.
Well, you don't. And I've stood where you're standing. And unfortunately, people who are leaving this organization are seeking the truth. There's no such thing as having the truth and being in the truth. This is your language as a cult member. There's only degrees of how honest you are about your search for it. And Jehovah's Witnesses, unfortunately, I mean this seriously, Jehovah's Witnesses are being proven more and more every day. Hold on a second. Jehovah's Witnesses are proving more and more every day to prove themselves to not be honest about that search for truth.
What do you have to offer?
Degrees of honesty about my search for truth.
What's the purpose to life?
See, like, you guys are in a burning
What's the
building.
purpose to life?
You guys are in a burning building,
Answer
being
that
cult
question.
members to that organization, right?
So what's our purpose to life?
I don't have to offer you a solution.
Because you don't have a
The
solution.
purpose of life, Gino, is to be honest. Start there, my friend.